How you doing? Doing good? Great. Good morning, good evening. Hope your breakfast has been great, or your fish fingers, or lasagna. Happy days. Today's video, we're talking about Premier League. I thought that after the window has ended, I thought let's just rank each window because I'm bored. I'm waiting for FIFA 22, and I'll be honest, I enjoy pissing off fans. You know, it's part of my DNA. So if you guys do enjoy, smash the like button. Also tell me down below in the comments, how do you think your window has gone? We're on Tier Maker, of course we are. Where else do you think we'll be? So I thought, you know what, man, this isn't gonna be like an insane in-depth video. This is just as a fan. I just have a brief look at each team's business and just see how I think they've done. The worst ones and the best ones are very obvious. The ones in the middle are kind of up to debate. Maybe it's your own personal opinion, but yeah, tell me how you think down below in the comments, and let's get stuck in. Are you in a search for a football news app? Well, I've got you sorted, lad. This video has been kindly sponsored by OneFootball, your local neighborhood football app. For all the latest transfer news or any news happening with your football club, this is the app for you on iOS or Android for absolutely free. The link is at the top of the description. Live score updates, live lineups, live league table, live everything just for you. It's nice and easy to read, and it's even got dark mode, which I know how much you like dark mode. If this tickles your fancy, then I'll leave a link at top of the description just for you. Let me know down below if you downloaded it, and let's get straight to the video. So really, nightmare, it's really two teams here. It's Liverpool and it's Newcastle. I mean, I think I put Newcastle worse than Liverpool. Maybe because Liverpool, they've not lost really any main players other than, I guess, Wijnaldum and I guess Shaqiri. But they brought in Konate, who, is he even a starting centre-back for them? I don't even know. I think it's Joe Gomez and Van Dijk. For perspective, if you compare Liverpool's business compared to all the other top six, it's really, really poor. Their depth has really got not really much better at all. If anything, it's got worse, especially in attack and in the midfield. So it is a very poor window compared to teams around them. Now they have kept some big players and they've got some new contracts. So, oh no, it's not the end of the world, but you want a bit of excitement, a bit of a lift in the club, and it feels like right now they're stagnating a bit, but they have got a great group of players, so maybe it won't matter that much, but it is quite poor compared to the rest of the league. And Newcastle, I mean, it's Newcastle. They spent like what, they got one transfer in Joe Willock, and Joe Willock is the absolute bare minimum of what they really should have done, and they did nothing else. Like, not even one player they brought in is really going to start or have any chance of really even playing football for this year. It's really poor. They've lost a few players, and they've just got poorer, really, other than one player in the entire window. So, really, Newcastle, it's a massive L for you guys. And in the nightmare tier, it's really just these two. In the poor window, I'm going to put in a few clubs there which I think have not done that well. For me, this tier is more, they've not really got any better, and in some cases may have actually got worse or more weaker in depth or whatever else. So I'm going to put in Wolverhampton Wanderers in here. I'm going to go and put in the likes of Brentford. I'm going to go put in Everton. I'll put in Southampton. Let's start off with Southampton here. They've lost Ings. They've lost Vestergaard. They've lost Bertrand. They brought in a few maybes here and there. They brought in the likes of Armstrong, who can get some goals, I believe, but he's not on the same level as Ings anywhere near. There's a lot of goals missing there. And Livramento is probably the only good piece of business that I can see, really. All in all, I think they've weakened this window than anything else. Everton, they've done some nice little bargains. Demarai Gray is a great bargain for them. Again, for a club of their stature compared to last window, you have Decore and Allen and James Rodriguez. It really is very, very poor compared to last year. They've gone from a 9-10 to like a solid 3 here. Richarlison, and also keep in mind, James Rodriguez is still there. However, will he play that much? I don't know if he's even in the plans. They put in Solomon Rondon, Demarai Gray, and a few alright players that can add some depth, but compared to last year, it is very poor in comparison. Brentford, a few maybes. They put in a few little players from like other leagues. They've got Onyeka and Vizeh. They got a few maybes in here, which I feel like they will do well. I just expected a bit more from them, because you hear a lot about the Brentford way, about the new transfers, and maybe their team is already good enough, and maybe it is actually. I just kind of felt like maybe one more like established player to add to their club would have been to put them into the alright category, because there are still some maybes in there. And then last but not least, Wolverhampton Wanderers. Again, it's not been bad, but I just don't think they've really got much better. They kept some big players like Ruben Neves, for example, but they brought in a few alright players, maybe could be really good, but we don't know right now, like Trincao and Hwang Chan, for example, on loan, which is actually a decent player. It's just, from what I've gathered from Wolves fans, they're not really a massive fan of this window. It's not been that good, and I don't think they've really got much better, if any at all, as well. Next up in the middle will be a lot of teams that I feel like as been alright. They've improved in some areas, a few depth here and there. So let's go put in the teams. I'm going to put in Norwich City. I'm going to put in Watford. I'm going to put in Burnley. I'm going to also put in the likes of Arsenal in as well. Also Brighton, and I may put in one more, and I think I'll put in Leeds. Let us just fly through here. So Leeds United, they put in some decent players all around the park in Liverpool. They secured Jack Harrison and also Dan James. And Dan James turned them from a poor window into a decent one. They've brought some better players, which I do feel like Dan James at Leeds will do really well. And again, they've not really lost any big players either. So really, they've improved, but not by too much. So all in all, I think they'd be quite, happy. Any team in this category, in this row, is like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 for me personally. Brighton, it's alright. It's alright as well. They brought in Cucurella, brought in Mwepu. They sold Ben White for a massive fee as well. So all in all, I don't think anyone's really upset over that. It could be maybe a 7. It could be a decent window for them. They lost big man Percy Tau, and for me, that really breaks my heart. So big up the South African massive. You're in the middle. Now it's time for Arsenal. Arsenal is a fun one here. And look, for the money that they spent, I feel like the signings that they've got are nice for the future. I just think that they've overpaid for a good chunk of them, which I guess is what they have to do to really try and catch up. It is a process. I know that people may say, trust the process, but I don't think it's a bad window. It's just the players that they brought in aren't really enough for now. Other than Odegaard, I don't think really they're that much of an improvement. It wouldn't be that bad if it was like a Tottenham making all these signings, because they've already got some big players that's already there now to still do quite well, and these young players can be brought in over time and then really put into the system. These players will be thrown straight into the deep end because they have no other options, and I feel like they're not ready for that right now. So if they got like one player like a proper established footballer other than Odegaard, then I feel like that would be really good, but they haven't. So it's decent, it's not bad, it's a lot of money for what they have, which is really players that are not ready now, but all in all, it could be worse. Burnley, as a Burnley fan, I think we've done alright. We've brought some decent players, which will improve the team. In Cornet, in Roberts has been a good championship right back and is ready for the step up as well. Collins, a good little backup, and not really much else that can really improve the team, but we've got players out wide, which is what we need. So as a Burnley fan, it'll be alright. And then there's Watford and Norwich. A lot of players has been brought in, more than Brentford. That's why I kind of put Brentford a bit low down, because I feel like they may need a bit more. But Watford, Norwich, a lot of players have come through the door, especially Norwich. Watford with some nice players I see. Cooker, I really do rate him. Musa Sissoko adds some experience to that team. Dennis as well is actually not bad at all. Josh King can also get a few goals throughout the year. I think they've done pretty decent actually, and they could maybe like sneak into the top tier of that's decent, of like a 7 or 8 out of 10, depends on how all these players form into one, because they could maybe flop. There's a big question mark on these players. Same thing as Norwich, a lot of players from Werder Bremen, from other leagues, and I feel like there's a lot of question marks here on how they work together. I love Lees Malou. Lees Malou's a proper nice signing. Rashiska as well, I think is actually nice as well. It's just the rest of them that I feel like, again, a lot of question marks. And right now it looks like they've went through it, even with their very low wages. They have lost Brendia, which is a massive loss for them. I don't think they've really replaced him that well. It's alright. It's a solid 5-6, and I think they've gone for it here. Next up in the that's decent category, I'm gonna put in Tottenham Hotspur. I'm going to put in Leicester City. I will also put in Aston Villa. I will put in Chelsea and City. They have brought in only one player, really, and that is Jack Grealish. They brought another youngster, I think, Keiko, a Brazilian lad, but really it's just Grealish that they brought in, which is a record-breaking transfer. It's a massive piece of business, and really they put in all their eggs in that one basket for this window. It's really hard to try and improve that team, and they have, so it is decent. It is decent, and to improve an already insane side, that's why I put them already in that's decent, because if you can improve that, then fantastic. And they've kept all their main players. The same thing goes for Chelsea. Chelsea, one massive signing in Lukaku, and then they've also got Saul, which is a nice piece of business. Would that really be needed that much? I don't know, because their midfielders are already insane. Compared to last year, it's not on the same levels, but it's still like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, just for getting in Lukaku by itself. West Ham United, they've done decent all-round. Vlasic, Zuma, Crowder, Czech lad as well, Areola, some nice players all around the park, and they've got a very nice team being built right now. Tottenham, probably more lower, probably would be like a 7 because they've kept their main player in Harry Kane. They've kept all their main players really, and like, you know, they let off a bit of deadwood like Sissoko and like Alderweireld. So they've done well in that aspect. They've brought in a few youngsters like Brian Gill, Pepe Sarr, Emerson, some good young players for the future. So I like what they've done this window. So by keeping their main player in Harry Kane, letting off some deadwood, and also bringing in some youngsters, I think it's been decent for them so far. Nothing insane, no real big players that can maybe really bring them forward, but they've kept the main diamond. Leicester as always, they always do well in the window. They've brought in Daka, Sulemane, Vestergaard. They put some nice players all around the park, and I feel like this, and it's a solid 7, maybe an 8, 7.5 out of 10 for Leicester really. And then Aston Villa, with the loss of Jack Grealish, they would have to do something that's really good to try and like make that seem not that bad, and I think they've done that. Danny Ings is a great piece of business. I also think that Brendia will be fantastic for them. Leon Bailey as well. They've spent that money wisely, and I think that will be shown this year, and they will be absolutely fine without Jack Grealish. So I think what they've done with that money is very good. And then in the last tier, HMS Pistol League, I'm putting in Crystal Palace and then Manchester United. Okay, let's just speak about Man U here. They've signed Ronaldo. That's it. Done. Now, they could have signed a DM. They could have... But, mate, they've signed Raphael Varane. Okay, 5-time Champions League winner, whatever he's won, I think 4 times, something dumb like that. Okay, Jadon Sancho, one of the world's most talented youngsters, and then Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, it's HMS Pistol League time. Like, if you don't win a trophy, then something's gone wrong here. I don't care about Fred, okay? You got Ronaldo, bro, and Varane. That should be enough. That should be enough in that alone. Honestly, there's no excuses now for United. So they brought in Ronaldo. They brought in Varane and Sancho. Incredible. Incredible. And you know what, man? I really liked the signings of Crystal Palace this window. Some great young players for the future. I love the looks of Gulli. I like the look of Elise. I love the setting of Edouard as well. And also Anderson from Lyon. Some great, exciting talent is coming through at Palace, and their project is looking really good, and they've got a big striker to now match with Benteke, and it's not like they spent a massive amount of money. There's been a few decent bargains in there. So really, Man United and Palace, HMS Pistol League. Now that is my thoughts, so let me know yours down below in the comments. And my kind of all-around Premier League predictions, I guess it has changed a bit, you know. I mean, United, they've got Ronaldo. I thought they'd be third. With Ronaldo now, it's now completely blown wide open. They are really now a serious contender. I don't want to hear about Fred or McTominay. I don't want to hear that. Yeah, no. You got Ronaldo, fam. You got Ronaldo, okay? It'll make it work. It'll make it work, lad. I don't want to hear any excuses. So that is my thoughts. Tell me yours down below in the comments. I'll see you guys next time for another video. Stay safe. I'll see you soon.